would end the shutdown.
That's ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Sunday's vote came after an agreement was reached that included a future vote on extending health care subsidies and assurances that those federal workers furloughed would be reinstated. Flight issues remain at airports across the country, even as the shutdown may end this week. A number of flights have been cut by the FAA since Friday due to shutdown-related staffing issues. As of this morning, more than 1,600 flights have already been canceled, more than 2,300 delayed. Now to our weather. Chicago might have gotten spared, but Kenosha and Racine counties got the brunt of our overnight lake effect snow. You can still expect blowing and drifting snow along the roads. WTMJ meteorologist Craig Copleen tells Wisconsin's Morning News what we can expect later.
It's very possible that the snow in Kenosha now will be now down in northern Illinois, the Chicago area, and we'll be able to put some finer points, get some exact totals from what exactly all fell on Kenosha, Racine, and other portions along the lakeshore this morning.
All schools in Kenosha closed today. Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes. Because of wet weather, the Wisconsin State Fair's ticket exchange program starts today.
The final day of this year's fair was canceled after historic flooding on the fairgrounds. If you have an eligible ticket, you can make the exchange in person for the 2026 State Fair. The exchange runs from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. through Friday, November 14th, and 9 a.m. 4 p.m. on Saturday, November 15th. Fair officials say not all ticket types qualify for the exchange program. You can find more details on our website, WTMJ.com. Nasir Spencer, WTMJ News.
Week one down on I-94, but more changes are to come.
After our first week with the 94 mega project, we're doing well, Milwaukee drivers. This week, we have more closures and restrictions, so the DOT's Eric Hansen has graciously agreed to fill us in each week. On Tuesday, we have a ramp closure in the Stadium Interchange.
175 southbound system ramp to 94 westbound. That's going to be closed long term.
Also starting this week, 94 westbound is scheduled to be reduced from 3 lanes down to 2 between the Stadium Interchange and 70th Street. Debbie Laziga, WTMJ News.
Millions of Americans already shopping for the holidays. Data analyst firm Adobe Analytics says consumers spent $88.7 billion online in October, up 8.2% from 2024. Lead Insights analyst Vivek Pandya says consumers were first drawn in by the Prime Week, then stepped up spending toward the end of October as the government shutdown began.
We have still that expectation for the holiday season for growth to come in at about 5.4% year on year, and for spending to be, stronger than $250 billion for the season.
What were people buying online? Adobe says holiday decor, tools, appliances, e-readers, headphones, and outerwear. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update mixed bag on Wall Street. Dow is off 2 points. The NASDAQ up 325. S&P 500 up 50 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
It's like you don't want to even do anything anymore. You lay in bed in the morning, putting off the pain. You put off your workouts. You put off your walks. And yard work, that's just not even an option anymore. As we speak, pain is taking away more and more from your life. And unless you take action, it's going to get worse. And that's no way to live. Not when there's a Rejuvenex clinic nearby. Because the power of Toradol, joined with the wonder of hyaluronic acid, can alleviate your pain. And it can allow you to start living your life again. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, Rejuvenex treatments are affordable. They're FDA approved. And in many cases, our patients pay nothing at all. Because insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pay for them. If your pain just won't go away, you should call Rejuvenex today.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Google reviews will tell you it's worth a try.
Crisp air, cozy sweaters, and a home that's actually ready for fall. Exterior Pros and Baths is giving $3,000 off roofing, siding, windows, or bath remodels this month. Don't let your home be the only thing falling apart this season. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. Exterior Pros and Baths, because your house deserves a little sweater weather too.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Celebrate a
birthday, anniversary, or retirement this week with a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill. Buy one dinner, get one free, 7 nights a week. Google Fox and Hounds restaurant and enjoy your free dinner.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. After a disappointing home loss to the Carolina Panthers in Week 9, Packers look for a bounce-back effort tonight against the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles.
The Packers will take the field tonight without leading receiver, tight end Tucker Kraft, whose season came to an end in that Carolina game with a torn ACL.
Big part of our offense, we'll be missing that.
Insert former second-round draft pick Luke Musgrave, whom Jordan Love trusts.
With Tuck being out, he's going to have obviously a lot more reps, and it's just maximizing all those reps. And he does a lot of good things. I think he's got a lot better in just the pass game, his route running ability. And I think his confidence for himself is pretty high right now.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
The Bucks fell to the Rockets 122-115 at home, and Caleb Durbin is up for a major award tonight. Brewers third baseman is a finalist for NL Rookie of the Year. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. It looks like we have blocked the right shoulder due to a disabled vehicle. This is going to be on I-43 North at Howard Avenue. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Blustery, chilly after morning flurries. Partly cloudy, 37 for the high today. Tonight, blustery and again a chance of flurries. Overnight low 25. Slight chance of rain mixed with snow tomorrow. Becoming partly cloudy, high 42. Then sunny Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Temperatures should creep up all those days. Wednesday's high 48. Thursday 52. Friday sunny skies with a high of 53. Still 28 in Madison, 29 in Green Bay, 31 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
And good morning, everybody. Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12, joins us as he always does, but today
he got called away.
He got called. Always some story you got to cover, and Matt Smith joins us on the hotline. Hopefully, you're heading north and not south because they're getting buried in snow. To the south of us.
Yeah.
You're going north?
No south, which is good. Like a foot of snow. Isn't that amazing?
It is. And as I was telling Kristin before the show, I am not ready for any of the snow nonsense yet.
I wasn't ready for the temperature.
Yeah, it was cold.
I wore a leather jacket out yesterday to the Bucks game. I was like, "Whoa, I was not prepared for the temperature that is outside right now."
So, Matt, we're going to keep you for one long segment because we know it's always a little more tenuous when we have you on the phone line. So hopefully the phone line and the connection stays solid. But obviously the big story nationally and locally is the shutdown, at least proceeding to some sort of a deal. As a journalist in Wisconsin, host of Up Front on Channel 12, and as the political director there, what's your assessment of how this is playing out?
Wow, there was a lot that happened over the weekend, right? Specifically yesterday. So you kind of have two paths that everything is on, right? First, this deal that was negotiated in the Senate among some moderate Democrats, Senator Baldwin, not one of them, who voted to at least move this bill forward. And then secondly, you have the mess that is still unfolding with food share and SNAP across the country. And Wisconsin is in a really unique position. We are one of, if not the only state that really went kind of guns a-blazing in terms of like loading money onto the cards while we have all of these back and forth court rulings. And now there's just a lot of questions about where everything stands as we potentially a deal in place.
So
does that sum it up?
Yeah. So basically, let's go back to the SNAP thing because I think that's, like you said, we're one of the few states that actually pulled the trigger on this. So basically, as I understand it, Thursday night, while there was a gap between the federal judge ruling or the appeals court ruling and the additional appeal from the Trump administration, Governor Evers pulled the trigger, right, and funded all of the Quest cards for food share in Wisconsin. And now the back and forth becomes, as I think the Trump administration has until 4 p.m. today, I think, for the First Circuit. But where did the money come from? That as far as from for food share in Wisconsin, and two, do we have any clarity on? Because I know Trump is demanding that we undo that act, but is that even possible?
All really great questions, Kristin, as we sit here on a Monday morning. So here's kind of how I've explained this and understand it, I guess, to the best of my knowledge. So there's kind of two processes at play here. The state, as you mentioned, loaded all the money, $104 million plus, onto all the cards for Wisconsinites, some 700,000 who receive food assistance. That money, in theory, on these cards, think of it, I guess, like a credit card right now, right? That money is there. They can go swipe the card and get their food. What isn't happening is on the back end, all of this money coming from the federal government, which typically reimburses these local businesses, the grocery stores, those reimbursements aren't there right now. The U.S. Treasury halted that money, has stopped payments. So we are really in a limbo, and the major impact, at least at this moment, the governor's office says all of this reimbursement money will run out today if the courts don't step in, are the grocery stores that could really feel the short-term impact. Long-term, who knows what's going to happen. But if you have your Quest card, if you have your EBT card, in theory, you are still able to go use it. The full benefits are there. What isn't happening is the federal money being reimbursed to the local grocers.
You know, one of the things that was emerging late last night, as we all sort of worked to see what the details of this potential agreement in the Senate and eventually the House on the budget shutdown, is that there is apparently an extension for these SNAP funds through, I think, November.
For a year?
Yeah, through November of 26. That is, I think, a concession that a lot has to happen before that gets signed by the president. But that is, Matt, and a concession, at least something the Dems can hang their hat on. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a ton of back and forth within the Democratic Party this morning about whether this is the right path to take. You have the moderate Democrats who are saying, listen, we are at the point where we got the conversation on Obamacare subsidies. We're getting some of this funding, like for SNAP. Now we need to reopen the government and sit down and negotiate. You have some more progressive Democrats. You have Senator Tammy Baldwin. You have Congressman Mark Pocan coming out and essentially ripping this deal to shreds. In essence, saying we shut the government down for what? We are now giving Republicans what they want.
Well, what is your move this week as far as who do you want to talk to first to get more clarity of where this goes?
Well, great question as well, Kristin.
Full of them this morning.
It's so many great questions. Listen, I mean, we want to talk. We want to talk with the governor. We want to hear the latest on this back and forth, because Wisconsin really is now at the center of this debate nationally, as we just talked about being one of the only states to go full in on the SNAP and share benefits. So we need to understand what is happening at the moment and as we go into the week. Obviously, we want to hear from the delegation, Senator Baldwin, more on her decision to vote no, as this now will come before the Senate. And then it'll be curious to see, like, the prediction is that this will pass the House on a razor-thin vote, but you can never say never. So what are those conversations looking like as House members are now being called back to Washington to vote on this Senate package to see how all of this plays out?
Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12 and host of Upfront, along with Jaron Jordan, joining us on the hotline. We'll let you go in a little bit, but I want to ask you about, for the first time, the candidates for governor, not all of them. Tom Tiffany wasn't there, and I think there was one other individual that wasn't there. Met at the Wisconsin Technology Council, a joint forum. Any takeaways from that event?
Yeah, it was super fascinating. I was able to moderate that. There were 6 candidates on stage, 5 Democrats, 1 Republican, Josh Shillman. And listen, this was focused specifically on tech and the economy. Trump did come up. The administration came up. We talked a lot about data centers and the impact here in Wisconsin. And I think we talked about this a while back. It's fascinating that there's really no partisan take on data centers. There's really no back and forth. And the answers are kind of all over the place in terms of what they would do as governor in terms of these massive developments. So that was fascinating. It was interesting to get their initial takes on the economy, as for the first time we saw a good chunk of them all up on stage together for the first time talking about some of these important issues.
Was there anything that of note as far as, especially for Democrats, starting to differentiate themselves?
I think you saw some of that in terms of the talk on data centers and their approach. And if you take more of a data center business approach, or if you take more of a community concern approach, right, in terms of how you would navigate these waters, some of the candidates, like State Senator Calder Roy, State Rep Francesca Hong, really went after Trump and the Trump administration. Others were a little hesitant. I asked the Democratic candidates, in terms of the economy, how they would work with the Trump administration if there was an economic development benefit for Wisconsin. Some really struggled to answer that. Others took a more nuanced approach in how they would work with the Trump administration. So I think along those lines, Kristin, you're going to start to see some differences among some of the candidates.
All right, Matt Smith, we'll let you go. We'll reconvene next Monday at 10 o'clock here in the studios. Safe travels wherever you're going.
Sounds good. You guys have a great week.
All right. Lots more to get to. We have a little bit later this hour, we have Dan Bice, our newest contributor to the Monday show, and a special guest, Bill Glauber. Our pal Bill Glauber is going to join him as well. They may be here a little bit earlier than 10:35. We'll see how that all shapes out, but we have plenty to talk about on Point Taken Monday edition right here on 620 WTMJ.
All types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. Our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak and Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
Sweet, flaky, and utterly delicious. That's the famous Kringle from O&H Danish Bakery. Guaranteed to get you on the nice list, O&H Danish Bakery can deliver that heavenly goodness right to your doorstep. Now that's a memorable gift where you know you've nailed it. And it arrives fresh in just 2 business days, anywhere within the country. Order online today, ohdanishbakery.com, or come on in to O&H Danish Bakery in Racine, Oak Creek, or Sturnivan and taste the difference of bakery made from scratch.
If Penny Mustard was a bookstore, our staff's top pick section would spotlight the Dane bedroom.
My review would say, smoking hot. You'll feel more sophisticated with the Dane bedroom in your home.
Mine would read, the perfect balance of iron and wood makes the Dane bedroom stand out from the rest.
Wow, the Dane bedroom sounds great. I can't wait to see the film adaptation.
The Dane bedroom, starting at $82.48 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Your way inside the huddle.
Hut 1, Hut 2.
Without putting on any pads.
Hi.
It's Green and Gold Insiders on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
When you're playing and you're going through the season, every win's a good win. Some are better than others. Beat a really good team, it feels like a better win, but that's hard to do in the NFL.
Green and Gold Insiders is presented by Window Nation. It's Green and Gold Insiders all season long, right here on WTMJ.
All right, Street Steve, what is Wisconsin's nickname? Is it America's Dairyland or the Badger State?
I said Badger State.
I feel like this isn't one that has a distinct objective answer. But if you have a strong opinion on what Wisconsin's nickname is, whether it's America's Dairy State America's Dairyland or the Badger State, let us know. But either way,
is there a right answer?
I don't know. I don't know. But either way, we're going to be doing some trivia. Maybe not just Wisconsin trivia, but lots of types of trivia. This Wednesday at Revere's Wells Street Tavern in Delafield at 7 p.m. It's going to be Steve, me, Jeff Sherman for a special night of fun and giving. It's WTMJ's Trivia Showdown, part of Capco's Kids to Kids Christmas Toy Drive. So just bring your friends, test your trivia skills, and help spread some holiday cheer, all while supporting a great cause. But don't forget, just bring a new unwrapped toy to donate and make a difference for kids right here in our community. So it's WTMJ Trivia Showdown this Wednesday, November 12th, 7 p.m. at Revere's in Delafield. Steve, Jeff, me, we'll all see you there.
And all of our great fans and listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and maybe
fun.
some other GKB folks.
I've done a bunch of these. They're amazing. And you sort of compete as teams and little insider baseball.
I mean, you could play solo if you think you can just...
Yeah, if you're that smart. Yeah, the questions are hard, though. They're not easy questions. And I guess my opportunity is to help you if you need help on something.
I feel like these two would be good at trivia.
Yeah, speaking of these two, we're going to take a quick break, and then these two gentlemen, Dan Bice, Watchdog columnist, Journal Sentinel, and Bill Glauber, retired journalist, and now hopeful golfer, I should put it in those terms. Don't talk. We're going to break. We'll get you guys. Glauber, Bice, Kristin, Steve, point taken. Lots of fun we're going to have in the next 40 minutes. Well, it's up to those guys to make it fun, I guess. There's a lot of news anyway. We'll do it after the break on 620 WTMJ.
A new era is rising in Dallas. But make no mistake, this league still runs through the Greek Freak.
Rebound and hammers it down with a foul. All the Greek Freak said, that ball is mine. Get out of the way.
The Bucks ride into Dallas to take on the Mavericks.
Punches it through and then headbutts the backstop.
Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7 on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi here from Milwaukee Weight Loss. Yeah, it is true. 45 pounds since January, and I've maintained that weight loss and actually trying to lose a few more because of the great help from Milwaukee Weight Loss. You can do it. I did it. If you're frustrated with all the trendy stuff, you know, the shots and the meds and the meals, bars, and shakes and all the things that make you go up and down constantly, Milwaukee Weight Loss helped me lose that weight and keep that weight off with a program and great coaching. Doctor-developed, natural, helps thousands of people just like me and you, potentially, lose 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 8 weeks, and then you maintain that because you reset your metabolism. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds. I lost 45, as I said. Ready to stop the yo-yo stuff? Take control of your life and your diet and your weights, even your sleep. You can sleep better when you're lighter. It's a smarter, faster, safer way to reach your goals. That's Milwaukee Weight Loss and their incredible team. They are the best. Schedule your free consultation today at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. or call 262-393-2334. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with the new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geiss's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield. Or you can also visit their online showroom at GeissDoors.com. Geiss has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geiss at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geiss. Visit them online at GeissDoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
Now it's time to get Biced with Milwaukee Journal Sentinel watchdog reporter Dan Bice on Point Taken.
I know you're a big shot when you get your little...
You get your own
big voice
opening.
Guy talking you in like Dan Bice got, Watchdog columnist. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, our local newspaper here in the state of Wisconsin, one of several great newspapers in the state of Wisconsin. Also joining us, a semi-regular contributor and amateur golfer.
I don't
Bill
get the
Glauber.
low voice.
You don't get the big voice guy, no. Although you certainly deserve it as an esteemed.
No, that's okay. I don't need
journalist.
the big voice guy, but it sounded good with Bice.
Yeah, it did. Oh, Dan's a smart guy.
We could name Bill the Hall of Famer of this show, right?
There we go.
How big's your Hall of Fame right now?
Do we have? We don't have a Hall of Fame.
No,
That'd be a good.
Now you do.
Start making a Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Who would be in that group? Oh, we could make him the introductory.
Do we need to get like smoking jackets like they have at SNL for the five timer club?
Maybe let's go cheaper vests. Like vests with our show logo on it. All right, gentlemen.
A stern handshake.
Late last night, of course, there's a lot of things happening in Washington, D.C. We have this alleged budget deal, and we talked a little bit about that with Matt Smith in the first half hour. But one of the other things that happened, I think, was at 10:14 last night?
Yeah.
Presidential pardons including for a lot of people who are involved in our little dust-up after 2020. What do you make of these pardons there, Dan Bice?
I mean, obviously the president uses the pardons whenever he wants to and for anybody he wants to.
Whether he knows them or not.
It surprises me that it took him this long to do it. And it affects several people in Wisconsin. I mean, it mentions several people in Wisconsin, but in terms of impact, it doesn't affect the state case that Josh Kaul has brought against. Probably the best known person is Jim Trupis, his former judge. He's been a very prominent Republican, and nationally, a guy named Kenneth Chesebro. They were involved in the whole. Chesebro was involved in coming up with the idea of the alternative slate of electors everywhere, and so they were involved in. He was involved in Georgia and other places that this happened. But this actually could have been resolved here already, but Josh Kaul he took a long
ages. I think the word is ages.
Right.
Did he ever answer the question of why he dragged his feet?
I don't think so, but
if he did, it would be a cautious reply.
Okay, yeah.
But is that out of the unusual? How long did it take us to find out if he was running for governor or not?
Yeah.
All right. To the bigger question, what's happening is the president of the United States is going back, and after he lost most of the 2020 battles in 2021, he's going back and rebranding that whole thing. Going back to what he said then is that he won the election.
No, it's worse than that. It's
tell me why it's worse.
The continuing rewriting of history. There was an attempt to steal the 2020 election. It led to a riot at the Capitol and an attempted insurrection. That's the bottom line, and they're trying to rewrite that and spin it for history.
But he does. I mean, it's a thing that's going on every day. I mean, you probably saw the BBC thing, which was a real screw up, where they overstated what the president had to say on January 6th.
They condensed two clips to make it sound worse.
And there was 50 minutes in between them, so it's not like just condensed.
Yeah. They cut it. They edited it.
When we're writing stories, it's not unusual, and people sometimes don't realize this, but if you give a statement that's an entire paragraph, sometimes we'll narrow it down, put quotes together from the beginning and the end of the comment. But in their case, they took two entirely different points and merged them into making it sound like he was telling them to go up and start a insurrection, which he stopped short of. But obviously he was not opposed to it and could have called them off and didn't do that. But yeah, you're right. He is trying to rewrite. I mean, he's rewriting everything. What did he do early in the week? He was pardoning Darryl Strawberry. My kids don't even know who
the
Darryl
straw.
Strawberry.
Come on, it's the straw.
He's a New York guy. That's why he's saying
There's press
that.
today saying that what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell.
That he's going to pardon her? That he's going to pardon her?
Well, she's asking for that, apparently. Although she's getting treated royally.
Well, I think what she's asking for is a reduction in sentence.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's still heinous crimes, soft prison, now a commutation. I mean, might as well just pardon it.
It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
It is disgusting. Meanwhile, in Britain, Prince Andrew is out as a result of the scandal.
Yeah, punishment. Real punishment.
Yeah, real punishment.
Well, he's still not in jail.
No, he's not in jail.
He just lost his title.
He lost his title and a lot of money.
And his house.
Yeah. And his house,
but the thing is, we thought for a long time, including people in the press, that there were things that you couldn't do, or if you did them, you would be in deep, deep trouble if you're president. But now things like that happen every day, and so what?
As they say, what happens? 4-letter word beginning with S and ending with T. All right, Bill Glauber, Dan Bice. We're going to continue the conversation after the break. Thanks for coming in early, by the way, because Matt was on the road. She is Kristin Brey. I'm Steve Scaffidi. This is the Monday edition. Thanks for finding us on your Monday. There's a lot of things going on, especially if you live south of us. Hello, snow. That's insane. Anyway, local news coming up with Connie Weber. After that, of course, or before that, ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Speaker Mike Johnson ordering members of the House to begin returning to Capitol Hill as the Senate votes to start the process of reopening the federal government. The Democrats who voted in favor of doing that did not get the health care subsidies they had been fighting for, says ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
The vote was 60-40, just enough to end the filibuster and allow the Senate to begin working on a spending bill that would keep the government open until the end of January. 8 Democrats sided with Republicans and infuriated most of their colleagues who say those who voted yes got nothing in return. GOP leaders are promising to hold a Senate vote on health insurance subsidies next month, but there's no agreement on what they'll be voting on and no guarantee it'll be put on the floor of the House.
Hormone-based drugs for menopause symptoms will no longer carry a warning about heart attacks and strokes, the FDA making that announcement today. President Trump threatening legal action against the BBC over the way it edited his remarks during a documentary on the January 6th attacks. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1031. I'm Connie Weber. Wisconsin will not return food share payments to the federal government. Governor Tony Evers says Wisconsin legally loaded full benefits to cards for nearly 700,000 residents Friday. But now that the U.S. Treasury has frozen its reimbursements to the state, Governor Evers says Wisconsin will run out of money to pay retailers for food share purchases today. U.S. Department of Agriculture warned states that failure to undo the payments could lead to funding cuts, but Evers expects to at least partial payment will come through. 3 people died, 1 person hurt in a rollover crash on Madison's southwest side over the weekend. Police say the car was likely speeding when it rolled near Cross Country Road around 1:30 a.m. on Saturday. Driver and passenger ejected. 3 of them died at the scene. 1 surviving passenger suffered serious injuries. Holiday parade in Racine ends with a fight, citations, and arrests. Police say a group of adults and juveniles began fighting near Monument Square shortly after the parade ended on Saturday. It's unclear how many people were arrested or their ages. Police say they issued citations for disorderly conduct and other related offenses. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed picture on Wall Street still. Dow down 16 points, 46,970. NASDAQ up 320 at 23,331. S&P 500 is up 51 points at 6,780. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We do have a new crash. This is going to be I-41 south, about a half mile beyond I-94 east to I-43 north, about a mile and a quarter beyond I-41. Right shoulder there blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Blustery, chilly today, partly cloudy with a high 37, and it'll be windy into the overnight hours with a chance of snow flurries, a low 25. Slight chance of rain mixed with snow tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy, high 42. Sunny and 48 Wednesday, sunny and 52 on Thursday, and sunny and 53 on Friday. 29 in Madison, 30 in Green Bay, 32 now in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1033.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game. In 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car is not one of them. The national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
What? The car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adam.com.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
All right, I got a full house in here today on this Monday. Of course, Kristin and Brey alongside Steve Scaffidi, Point Taken, 620 WTMJ. Hope you got our newsletter this weekend. We'll Tell you a little bit more about that later this half hour because it's second edition now.
Second edition.
A new newsletter.
A new
newsletter. Yeah. Extra points.
Extra points. So the stuff we didn't get to, or we add on stuff. We do a show poll.
Your picture was featured in this week's newsletter.
Well, you were the big news on last Monday because your debut episode as a contributor. So Glauber's been on the show many times.
Well, when you're with the paper 33 years, I wonder which picture you're going to run.
It was a studio shot.
It was a studio shot of all of us just chit-chatting.
I didn't think it was particularly flattering, at least in my picture, but, you know.
I chose.
We got to compete with this next to us here. All right. Hannah Dugan?
Yeah.
How are you covering that story?
Just because it was a big story, and I was the first one to write that she had been charged.
Fill in the blanks for the listeners in case they're detached from that story after a while.
Yeah, back in April 18th, she had this incident where there was a illegal immigrant who came into her courtroom, and 6 agents, ICE agents, drug agents, number of agents showed up outside the door. She was upset about that, and she moved their case forward and then led them out a side door. Actually, this week it came out that there's some confusion about which door they should have gone out, but they got caught by the agents. He tried to run away. They caught the agents. And then a week later, they charged her criminally with obstruction and a number of things. And so on December 15th, she's going to face what will be a national trial. It'll be a 5-day trial right before Christmas. They start picking jury on December 11th, and for the last several months, it's been chugging away. Her attorneys have asked that the case been dismissed, saying that everything she did was an official act, and that she was immune from prosecution. And the judge, who's a very liberal judge, Lynn Edelman, we both know him pretty well, Bill and I do.
You know him a lot better than I do. I'm still amazed that he's a full-time judge and not a reserve judge.
Right. He's referring to the fact that he's 80 in his mid-80s. But I covered him when he was in the legislature back in the early 90s. But he decided not to throw out the case. So it is headed to jury trial. Both sides told me it's definitely going to trial. And then on Friday night, the prosecution... there's a motion. It's a traditional motion, usually very boring, called an in limine motion. It just says, Judge, we don't want the other side to bring up these issues during the trial. And usually it's just basic stuff. Like she was interviewed by police on April 22nd, 4 days after the incident in her courtroom. And so they said, don't bring up that. But then they laid out their most detailed description of what they believed happened on April 18th. What they added to the case was that she told a colleague that she was in the doghouse because of what she had done. She said she was going to, quote, get the heat because she led them out of the courtroom. And then the second judge who met with the agents with her said that judge who testified before the grand jury was very uncomfortable with what Judge Dugan was doing.
Judge Cristela Cervera?
Cervera. And Cervera's going to testify. It looks like she's going to testify against Hannah Dugan. And then the final thing that they talked about was there's this jury door. It's a door that leads the jury out. And there's 2 options. You can take a left staircase that takes you stairs. Nobody uses it. I went down there last week just to look at it. And if they had taken that stairwell, no one would have seen them and they would have been in the clear. If you go straight out the doorway, you head straight into the hallway, and there were 2 agents standing there, and they were able to arrest them. So the question is, did Dugan direct them to head down out which door when she got there?
Glauber, I want to hear your take on this. What do you think?
Dan knows this case better than I do, but my reading of the case is she faces some severe consequences.
The thing is, I think that it's not going to be resolved here, which is something for everybody to know. I think it'll be resolved either at the appellate court, because whoever loses is going to appeal, and it could very easily go to the Supreme Court. Both sides have attorneys who have argued before the Supreme Court. Paul Clement is on her team.
Who's a conservative?
He is
in historically, right? Yeah,
right. He worked for a Republican president, and he would argue the case for Dugan if it gets to the Supreme Court.
If you know, have any protocols or procedures been changed as a result of what Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly tried to do?
Actually, things have sort of frozen. At the time that this happened, the chief judge for Milwaukee County was coming up with a policy on what do we do if ICE shows up here, and he had some draft rules. This was April 18th. Today in mid-November, there's still draft rules. He hasn't come up with the rules yet for how they deal with it. So, I went up with John Dietrich, who's doing the thing with me, and Mary Spicuzza, who was here last week. All three of us are covering the trial. And we went up and just walked through the courtroom after hours and around and stuff. And it doesn't look like anything's changed. There are a couple of things that are interesting from a public perspective. One is the audio of what happened in the courtroom. Both sides have the audio of what she said, but the courts won't release to us what those audio tapes. And so we've been fighting since May to get these audio tapes so we can hear what she said and what everybody else said in the courtroom that day. No one's ever asked for these. The thing is, court reporters there aren't many of them anymore. And so they're replacing them with audio recordings. And so we've been fighting to try to get that audio recording for a long time.
It's a public record. Or is it not?
The thing is, the courts aren't bound by open records in the same way that the other branches of government are. So no one had ever asked. The Supreme Court in July offered an opinion on this, and we're still fighting to try to get it.
Huh.
Bill Glauber, Dan Bice joining us for the rest of this half hour. Kristin and Steve, Point Taken. If you miss any or all of our interviews or our show, you can find it on our podcast page at WTMJ.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Point Taken is the search. Lots more to get to. We'll do after this on 620 WTMJ.
We all have one. That junk drawer, old keys, dead batteries, a phone charger from 2008. But somewhere in there are the tools you actually need. They're just buried in the clutter. For many people, their finances look the same way. Scattered, outdated, unproductive. A financial junk drawer. At Annex Wealth Management, we help you clean out that junk drawer. Organize what matters, eliminate what doesn't, and plan with purpose. And we'll do it as a fee-only fiduciary. Start today at AnnexWealth.com. That's Annex Wealth Management.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
I give up. Where are they?
Who?
Employees.
What?
You say Hassleus Mattress Showrooms don't have any employees. Come on, bud. I know better.
I assure you.
Are they cooped up in a secret back room?
Huh?
Or waiting outside in the bushes?
Sir.
I know. They're hiding under the beds, aren't they?
Listen, Hassleus Mattress Showrooms really are employee-free. Give our mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Nope, don't believe it.
You won't believe our prices either. Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and more for way less.
Right.
Others sell a King Aspen Cove A for $2,520, but our everyday low Hassleus price is just $1,374. Free next day delivery too.
Sure. Next you'll say I can get a free adjustable base with my purchase through Monday.
As a matter of fact, yes.
Oh, come on!
Save on Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest, plus get a free adjustable base. Find an employee-free showroom near you at hassleus.com.
It pretty much hurt doing anything. I couldn't ride a bicycle. You don't have your life because you don't have your mobility.
So when Patrick heard about QC Kinetics and their non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain, no waiting, he called them immediately.
There's no downtime. There's no rehab. That was the tipping point for me. I didn't have to take any drugs. I didn't have to rehab.
Before considering surgery, check out QC Kinetics all-natural treatment options that restore and repair damaged joint tissue in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back.
If you have knee replacement surgery, and then the knee is not yours, and there's no guarantee that that's going to be successful.
QC Kinetics. Patients around the country are raving about the results. They're getting back their mobility, taking back their lives with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. 414-667-5559.
Spice up your workday at the original Botanas on 5th Street. Enjoy flavorful and affordable Mexican lunch specials, always made fresh and served fast with a free cup of soup. Authentic taste, local favorite. Mi casa es su casa at Botanas.
All right, happy Monday, everybody. Sorry for those folks south who are getting all that snow, but, take your time. Don't stress your heart or your body. It's supposed to be light snow, but here's my thing. Unrelated to our guest, Dan Bice and Bill Glauber. If you got 13 inches of something light, it still adds up to be a heavy thing, regardless if there's, if it's lighter snow, lighter water content. As a son of a weatherman, I think I qualified to say that. All right, Bill Glauber, we'll start with you. No, what we're going to start? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, we're going to.
Well, I think
shutdown.
With the shutdown,
Schumer.
I think the most interesting thing is Schumer and what his future is. Is he past his sell-by date?
How old do you think he is?
He's in his 70s.
Yeah,
we both thought he was older.
He's
we
74.
both thought he was like 80. He's only 74.
He skews old.
He does.
He skews old. Well, I think the interesting thing on this shutdown with the politics is, what does Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez do? Is she going to run for president, or is she going to take the more sensible path of actually challenging Schumer? And I think that she is potentially his biggest rival.
Which is interesting because I keep asking her about that, and she's doing a pretty good job dodging the question, I think. But agreed
Perfect
as far
politician.
but it's agreed as far as looking at which Democrats caved on this, however you want to frame it. I'll say caved. All Democrats who either are retiring or are not up for re-election. So and also people who don't typically fall out of line. So as far as like pretending that Chuck Schumer didn't bless them voting against this while he's crying because he's up for re-election, while he can say that he's standing strong. Like, I just don't buy it.
Well, I think he's maneuvering behind the scenes, but like I think AOC is in the catbird seat. She's either going to run for president or run for U.S. Senate. And if she runs for president, I don't, right now I wouldn't say she'd be the president of the United States, but you can't rule her out in terms of winning a Democratic
She would be in
primary.
the top tier of candidates on the Democratic
Who else is in your
side.
top tier of candidates for Democrats in 2028?
Well,
Both of
Gavin
you, either
Newsom.
of you. Okay.
That's the easy one.
Well,
Beyond that, and then AOC, who do you got?
Pete Buttigieg.
That's
who's going to
another
be in
obvious one.
Wisconsin later this
Shapiro
week.
would be,
Josh Shapiro
would be. And I mean, he's an articulate guy who was discussed as a potential vice presidential candidate last time.
I don't think Harris is in the top tier. I think she'd have to fight her way back into the top tier.
Had her chance, got handed the nomination, and lost.
Usually you don't get to run twice.
That's actually, that sounds a whole lot like the argument locally for Mandela Barnes.
Yeah,
that we gave you, which we both covered his race,
and we talked about.
And he still is not made. I mean, he's now become the Josh Call of the Democratic Party, and that he's yet to tell us
hearing that
he's yet to say whether he's running again.
Like, get it over with, yes or no? What are we waiting for here? It's like this prima donna that has to be just waiting in the wings.
He waited a long time to announce that he was running for Senate, though. Too. What month did he finally announce that he was running for Senate back in 22?
Yeah, and he ended up having 3 opponents, but it worked out for him because they all dropped out. So. But this is going to be very, very different because that time no one on the Democratic side criticized him. They're already criticizing him this time.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about the governor's race, but just to get back to your original point, AOC Schumer, AOC wins, you think?
I think AOC could potentially run him into retirement.
Yeah, I was going to say more likely is if you see the numbers aren't trending the right way, you do what every incumbent toward the end of their career does, and you decide it's been a good career.
There is a generational brawl within the Democratic Party, where the elderly politicians.
Yeah, they hate old people.
And I use
they don't
elderly.
Hate old people. We encourage you to go take retirement and enjoy your last years of life.
Just discard
on a
all your money and your wealth and your experience because we want the young.
Nancy
angry
Pelosi was 85.
She should have retired 10 years ago.
So is there a young moderate? It seems like it's more than just a generational.
Do you consider Pete Buttigieg a moderate?
Yeah, I think so. Except for the fact that he's gay, makes that front and center as an issue for him. But he's not AOC.
Certainly not AOC. Westmoreland, I don't think is AOC. I think AOC is the furthest to the left.
I was just wondering
of
if you could say there's an ideological battle going on, and there is, but it's not necessarily aligned.
Maybe
with the
Ilhan. Is it Ilhan Omar? What's her name?
Yes, that's her name.
Maybe she'll run since the Mamdani had so much success. Maybe she'll run for president.
She's not. She's not running for president.
Of course, I'm just being.
I was just letting you down, saying no.
I'm not. You're not letting me down.
Well, I know you're skeptical about AOC, but she's a force.
I guess. Yeah.
So do you like either of the two front runners on the Republican side
for
president? I mean, just this last week, Politico was reporting.
I say the same thing I've said for the last, I don't know how many years. Nikki Haley deserves a shot. First woman president, first Republican woman. I love that story.
But who's the other one besides J.D. Vance that you were going to mention?
He was saying, who was he saying? J.D. Oh, what's his name? Rubio was saying J.D. Vance is the front runner.
Yeah.
Oh, I think most people would agree with that.
He said
right?
he would not, he would not step
disagreeing.
getting his way, basically.
Right. But he was saying he's interested, but he thinks that Vance is the front runner right now.
All right, let's take a break. We're already late for break. Tom Tiffany was a story you reported about.
Yeah, I'll talk.
You're really into the web story stuff lately, and the web, the backgrounds.
The fact is, a lot of people sent me notes saying if you take a guy down from his web postings, you need to look at everybody else. So
everybody, stop talking. We got to take a break. 620 WTMJ.
I've been screwing up all the chores at home.
Hey, we all make mistakes.
But darn it, my wife still isn't mad at me.
You want her to be mad?
Yeah, so I can sleep on the James sofa from Penny Mustard.
With the extra deep seats.
And ultra-high density foam cushions.
You're messing up on purpose so you can sleep on the James sofa?
I gotta admit, it's a pretty good plan.
The James sofa, starting at $22.96 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
You've seen us around town, volunteering, supporting events, and showing up where it matters. At Waterstone Bank, we're more than a bank. We're your neighbor. The money you deposit stays local, helping small businesses, creating jobs, and supporting home ownership. It's banking from the community for the community. Visit your local branch or WSBOnline.com to see how we're building a stronger southeastern Wisconsin, one neighbor at a time. Waterstone Bank, member FDIC.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Tess, what's up?
Oh, the CFO needs me to book a week of travel. I'm days behind on invoices. The plants in the lobby are dying, and now I have to order lunch for 80 with gluten-free options.
Just use Easy Cater.
Easy Cater?
One platform built for workplaces. Tons of great restaurants, any group size, with tools to meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Plus, rewards.
Rewards?
You earn rewards points when you order. Good for discounts or even gift cards for you.
Now that's what's up.
Easy Cater, the easy, rewarding way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Beautiful and safe. Decks built to last by Outdoor Living Unlimited, Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech deck installation team. For amazing ideas, go to our Outdoor Living Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate, go to outdoorlivingunlimited.com.
Hey, think you're the ultimate trivia champ?
Well, prove it against us, your favorite WTMJ hosts.
It's free to play. All we ask is bring a new unwrapped toy to benefit Capco's Kids to Kids toy drive.
Or you can donate at WTMJ.com. Just text TOY to the WTMJ talk and text line.
855-616-1620.
Grab your friends. Test your smarts, all while helping a great cause.
It's the WTMJ Trivia Challenge, coming to a place near you.
Check out the schedule of where we will be at WTMJ.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, got a few minutes left with our guest, Dan Bice, our regular Monday contributor, who always brings fun guests. Today, that fun guest, by definition, is Bill Glauber, retired journalist now. All right, Bice and Bill, feel free to comment. You've been writing a lot of stories about sort of the internet activity and the websites of political candidates. This time you talked about Tom Tiffany, candidate for governor on the Republican side.
The internet is great for me, and it's been great for me for like 10 years. I should actually put together the best of Dan Bice on people who screw up online.
I feel like you could name this segment like the recurring segment, like the internet is forever.
Yeah. And so it was funny when I did the thing on Bill Berrien, candidates and just members of the public said, we want to see what other people have been doing online. So I turned one around pretty quickly just on Tom Tiffany, because right before he got into the race, he's a Republican. He's got one opponent, Josh Shaman. Most people think that Tiffany will be the nominee. He changed his entire webpage. It went from being very political. Here's my position on guns. Here's my position on any number of other issues, abortion. And he wiped all that out and changed it to issues. And it all became bland. I want to make Wisconsin great again.
Why the word bland? What's your definition of that?
Bland meant I was bored when I was reading it. So I was reading it, and so all that stuff was gone. But, there's a lot of concern about his position on abortion, because within the last 5 years, he supported 2 bills that would restrict abortions after 6 weeks, one with restrictions only for and only have an exception for the life of the mother, nothing else, rape or incest, no. And then he had one for 15 weeks. But the state law now here is 20 weeks. And so he's changed his position, and he says he's at 20 weeks. So when
Republicans can't change their mind?
No, but it's worth documenting the fact that it's a convenient change for him to change his mind, because he's been in politics a long, long time and has written online about how he's going to fight them. He's also been endorsed by both major anti-abortion groups in Wisconsin. One's fairly mainstream. One includes no exceptions for any abortions, and they're also strongly opposed to contraceptives. He's been supported by them in the past.
All right, Glauber, you got about 30 seconds.
Dan's not telling you. Tom Tiffany is actually fun to cover because he'll say anything, and that makes him interesting. And, you ask him a question, he'll give you an answer, and those answers are going to come into play during this election.
I've interviewed him probably 3 or 4 times, always a nice interview.
And but he has opinions.
He does.
Opinions that may not play so well in a general election.
Or they may play well with Republicans.
Well, they will play well with Republicans.
But he has a long record. He has a record that might or might not play. What's your position on margarine and butter? He has one. He introduced a bill that
What's your position on margarine and butter?
I'm pro butter.
I like margarine.
Do you do?
Yeah.
Weird.
So he introduced a bill once to require them to serve margarine in the prisons. I mean, so he's got stuff going way back on lots of topics, and that's a great thing for me.
Treasure trove.
All right,
you're right.
We gotta wrap it up. So, can you bring Bill back next week, because he didn't have enough time?
That's it.
I'll never get a word in edgewise with Dan. It doesn't matter.
I'm just trying to get you equal time.
That is not true. In the newsroom, people thought he was the one who talked too much.
Oh, Bill Glauber, thank you.
Thank
Dan
you.
Bice, we'll see you next Monday. News is next on 620 WTMJ.
You're not just a job number as a Sidex customer. They've been family-owned since 1988, and they treat you as part of their family. Upgrade and transform your current bathroom space with Sidex Windows Siding and Bath. They have seasoned design consultants with 10 to 30 years of experience. The owner, Joe, is honoring his dad's legacy with top-tier products and expert craftsmanship. It's Sidex, the best in the business. Get a free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ. Visit sidexremodel.com.
I know why you continue to live in pain. It's because you don't believe anything can be done to help. Maybe you bought into something and you've been burned before. I mean, your skepticism, it's understandable. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and here we use powerful, anti-inflammatory, and cushioning pharmacological medicines to ease your pain. They're FDA approved, and most medical insurance is going to pay for our treatments, including Medicare and Medicaid. And that's the litmus test. Because if insurance has shown to cover the cost of many of our patients' treatments, you can be sure it's valid medicine. It's not a biological treatment considered experimental or some new gimmick that's trying to hook you. The Rejuvenex approach to pain relief is legitimate. It helps to alleviate pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. And from what we've seen, it gives people a new lease on their lives.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your
Call today, and there's a good chance we'll see you tomorrow.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love my dogs. Bella and Baxter, an important part of our family. They're kind of like kids sometimes. And like kids, they weren't always listening, but I've got it figured out now. Thanks to Matt and his teams at Sit Means Sit Dog Training, our dogs are better behaved. They don't bark as much. They just listen better. They're happy, confident, obedient. Our house is a better house. Sit Means Sit Dog Training turned it around for us. Let them do the same for you. You can start with a free consultation. The website is sitmeansitwaukesha.com. Sitmeansitwaukesha.com.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
A new era is rising in Dallas, but this league still runs through the Greek Freak.
Johnson gets the rebound and hammers it down with a foul. All the Greek Freak said, that ball is mine. Get out of the way.
The Bucks ride into Dallas to take on the Mavericks. Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7
on the home of the Bucks. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11:02, we have 34 degrees, blustery today with a high of 37. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Longest government shutdown in U.S. history may be ending. In a 60-40 vote, 8 members of the Senate Democratic Caucus joined Republicans in advancing a stopgap measure that would fund the government through January 30th. Senate Democrats backing away from their key demand, extending expiring Obamacare subsidies so health care insurance premiums don't rise for millions. Senator Bernie Sanders insisting the party's giving in too soon.
If this vote succeeds, over 20 million Americans are going to see at least a doubling in their premiums.
Meanwhile, Wisconsin defies a Trump administration directive to undo full SNAP payouts.
The one-word response from Governor Tony Evers to that demand is no. He says Wisconsin legally loaded full benefits to cards for hundreds of thousands of residents on Friday. But now the U.S. Treasury has frozen its reimbursements to the state, and Evers says Wisconsin will run out of money to pay retailers for food share purchases today. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has warned states that noncompliance could lead to funding cuts. But Evers expects at least partial payment will come through. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Supreme Court rejecting a bid to overturn the right to same-sex marriages. Justices declined to take up the appeal from former Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis to overturn the 2015 landmark decision. Snows moved south but left a lasting impact in Kenosha and Racine counties. WTMJ meteorologist Craig Copleen tells Wisconsin's Morning News why we didn't get more lake effect snow here in Milwaukee.
Lake effect snow bands are completely dependent on the direction that the wind is blowing. The snow falls parallel to that wind direction, then the snow is going to be pointed at and falling in southeast Wisconsin. And just very subtle changes in that wind direction changes where these huge totals can fall.
Snow totals range from a half inch in South Milwaukee to 13 inches in Pleasant Prairie. Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in less than 5 minutes. Right now, it's time for your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 114, NASDAQ up 384, S&P 500 up 65. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:05.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris talk to Yahoo Sports senior NBA writer Dan Devine. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Family owned, family operated, family values. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Shop smarter with Higher Love Cannabis Company in Menominee, Michigan, just a few seconds across the Wisconsin border. Award-winning, organically grown, quality products you can trust. Don't settle for knockoffs in Wisconsin. Get the real deal at findhigherlove.com/CBD.
The Previent Law Firm wanted to streamline their document printing. The firm's office manager, Chris Wilms.
And then I sat down with our rep, and he helped us find a better solution that would be cost-effective.
James Imaging Systems Managed Print Services Program. All your print technology bundled under one program that includes parts, supplies, and service, all for one low cost per print.
Right, a better solution to help us save money over the long term.
And there's flexibility should your business needs change.
Yes, so that again is where we get the value of our money to readjust it, to go and update our contracts.
Chris, sounds like you might be willing to recommend managed print services from James Imaging Systems to other businesses.
Oh, I definitely would tell them James Imaging.
James Imaging Systems, managed print services, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation. Call 262-781-7700. 262-781-7700. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. A marquee matchup caps off Week 10 of the NFL regular season. Jordan Love and the Packers battle Jalen Hurts and the Eagles on Monday Night Football from Lambeau. Green Bay coming off a ridiculous home loss to the Panthers in Week 9, which snapped a 3-game winning streak. Bucks fell to the Rockets 122-115 at home. Milwaukee has dropped 2 of its last 3 games. They visit the Mavericks tonight. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Highway 175 north at the ramp from 94 west. Right shoulder there blocked due to a disabled vehicle. We have a crash that is off left on the shoulder I-41 south about a half mile beyond 94 east.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Relax on Thanksgiving Day. Enjoy the magnificent buffet at the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant. It's all you care to eat. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Reserved today. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Blustery, chilly, partly cloudy, 37. With a chance of flurries overnight, it still will be windy at an overnight low of 25. A chance of rain mixed with snow tomorrow, high 42. Sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday, 48. In the mid to lower 50s Thursday and Friday. Still 30 in Madison, 32 in Green Bay, 34 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
The work week is here. Let's begin with your Monday market preview with Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano on Point Taken.
Ooh, I like this new opening for the one, the only, Mr. Dave Spano, who's not only on the phone with us, but if you were watching the YouTube stream, he is also on video. Looking good, Dave. How you doing?
Well, not as good as you, but yes, thank you.
All right, I hear before we get into markets and 50-year mortgages, you're going to go to the game tonight?
I'm supposed to go to the game tonight. I have to make sure that I'm dressed properly to stand outside for a number of hours in 28-degree weather. So, Steve, are you going?
Yeah, and if you are outside, text me and I'll wave to you from the nice warm
see,
inside.
that not a real fan. Not a real fan.
I've done it both ways.
Yeah, I'm going to have a knit cap and gloves on, I'm sure.
You're going to need it. It's supposed to be, I think, 29 at game time, going down to about 17 at some point.
Good
Which is
Lord.
perfect for football.
All right, let's get into I mean, there's so much to talk about between the shutdown, but I also think there's been a shift that seems like after last week's elections, President Trump is thinking more about the A word, right? Affordability. But one of the things that came out was this idea of a 50-year mortgage instead of a 30-year mortgage. And I get that the monthly in the short term, your monthly payment is lower, but seeing some of the numbers of how much you end up paying the bank, why is this a good idea?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So think about 50 years. I don't know how old you have to be to get a 50-year mortgage. I am pretty sure I don't got 50 years left. However, you think about, the payment will be lower, and so that does make it more affordable and more flexible for someone who wants more house or be able to get into a house. I get all of that. But then if you put the positives and then next with the negatives, there's a ton of that. And if you look at the difference, as you point out, between a 30-year and a 50-year, it is, 10 or 15% less. But if you run the numbers, the interest rate is almost 2x to what you would pay from a 30 to a 50.
So it seems like it's good for the banks, but I don't know if it's good for home buyers.
What's the policy play for the president here? I don't get it.
Well, again, affordability, and you look at what people as Kristin put. Well, it's lowering the payment, so it does lower the payment, and that means that more people are allowed to get into a home versus rent, and that's probably the argument. And if you look at affordability and talk about what is the number, housing represents about 30 to 35% of people's costs. And so if you can lower that payment even in a minor way, and by the way, Steve, a lot of people don't hold their mortgages for 30 years. And so they're going to trade out of it, they're going to upgrade, they're going to refinance, all of those things. So in the short term, it might get you into the house, but in the long term, it would cost you more. But, you remember back in the day, you used to burn your mortgages when you got them paid off, right? So that was a big day. And just as a financial planning axiom, if you can get out at some point and get out and not have a mortgage, that's a substantial financial planning play.
Dave Spano joining us on WTMJ's Point Taken. All right, so we know that the shutdown deal is in the works. A lot of announcements last night, a lot of people pontificating, at least elected officials pontificating today about that. What's your take on how this deal might play out and what the impact on the economy and the markets will be?
Well, if it's a clean CR that's been out there right now, and it's and I'm sure you've covered this already today, it's the idea or promise that there will be a vote on ACA subsidies extension. So we'll see if that happens. I mean, that would be a big promise broke if they don't have that conversation. But, it's likely that these things happen in bunches. In other words, you get a clean CR through January, and then you're right up against it again and have these problems again. But you've got Thanksgiving coming up. You talk about motivations to get this thing done. You've got Thanksgiving coming up, the biggest travel day, and you can see already the number of delays and cancellations. And we're not even close to getting out there yesterday. I know both my kids were flying yesterday, and they got delayed, and then one actually got canceled. So if you think about trying to get home for and by the way, that might be a champagne problem, but there's no question that travel is part of it. But then you look at putting SNAP benefits back into place, putting some government workers back on payroll. These are significant things in the meantime, to get away from the leverage that both sides want to get this deal done, to really come down to these ACA subsidies.
So we talked last week when you were on about the K economy, which I heard. It was funny. It was one of those things where you hear it once and then you hear it for the rest of the week, and you're constantly hearing it.
That's because we set it up, Kristin. You and I.
We set the trend.
They never heard of it between our conversation.
Exactly. And so, but then the day after you were on, the Tuesday night elections happened, and so much of that conversation was around affordability. So let's say shutdown is over, Congress gets back to work. What are some of the actual functional policies that Congress could have in their control to start fixing the affordability problem and some of these trends with the lower part of the K to even out to the upper part of the K? Is there something they could be working on?
And I guess that's really just a philosophical question. I mean, can government fix all of your problems, right? And so I can argue that your education affects your income. There's been papers written about this for 50 years, right? And the higher you get in education, the higher your median annual income goes up. There's just a ton of evidence on that, right? And so education is clearly part of that. That's number one. Number two, this conversation about healthcare has got to happen. I mean, I don't care where you are in your income strata, healthcare is an issue in this country, and it's been that way. I mean, I can remember Clinton talking about this, and that's 30 years ago. And so, what benefit? What have we made? What strides have we made? So, more technology probably could be in there. So, healthcare could be a policy issue that for sure could fix affordability. Education, getting people more access to higher education and better schools. But prescription drugs and telehealth and artificial intelligence, perhaps, in the healthcare field. All of these are measurable, logical conversations that could happen. Will they happen is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Dave, you and I talked about this before, and it's, sort of looks back at the history of the market and bubbles and what people are worried about. And the AI question comes up a lot. I read a lot about and watch a lot about AI and how it's sort of taking over. If a few firms dominate the market, and we all know the names, right? Does the market essentially become so sensitive to their outcomes and their business that it sort of jeopardizes what we know as the strength of the markets, where there was some diversity before?
Yeah, and that is true. So that Mag 7 that you're talking about, all the big names, do represent about 30% of the capitalization of the market. So when they move back and forth, it does affect the market as a whole. But you look at the Mag 7, for example, the NASDAQ was down about 3.5% last year. But I always say, and I say this, is put it in perspective. So the NASDAQ is now up about 20%. Even though it was down 3.5% last week, it's still up 20% year to date in 2025. 2024, it was up 30%. In 2023, it was up 42%. And so that is substantial. You add those three together, NASDAQ almost doubling in the last 3 years. So yes, there's no question that it does affect the market, and yes, it's gone well, but there are other parts of the economy that did not, or part of the markets that did not go down last week. And that's the reason why you have diversification. And that's the reason why you should rebalance when you get to this point. If it's overweighted in one particular area, this is the time to look at it and rebalance, especially as we go into the end of the year.
Since you asked, real quick, because I know Kristin wants to ask a question, the rebalance question comes up a lot. How often should you be considering that sort of re-look at your finances? Yeah,
and it should not be a calendar. I think I'm fundamentally opposed to those who say every quarter end we're going to rebalance. It's really a bad time to do it, by the way. It should be on some parameters. It has, for example, if you have tech in your portfolio, instead of being whatever it should be, 5 or 10%, it's become 20%. That's the time to rebalance back to the middle. So it shouldn't be based on a calendar. It should be based more on math.
This was just a follow-up to the AI question as far as last week, Sam Altman, he kind of was playing, he was using vague words, but trying to talk to the U.S. government about the possibility of federal loan guarantees to spur construction for chip factories, not for data centers, but chip factories. And he got some pushback as far as how much should the government be subsidizing or bailing out, potentially, OpenAI or AI in general. What are you looking for or watching for in that conversation as far as government's involvement with some of these AI companies?
Well, it's a slippery slope, right? But it hasn't been without precedent before. And you can think about, for example, automakers. The government has been in ownership of automakers. It has been in ownership of mortgage companies, right, in FHA. But you look at those things right now and say, at what point is it overstepping? But I do theoretically like the idea, instead of making it a grant, is that we participate in the upside. So there are companies, and you can go back and look, that said the government made a loan, and then when it came due, they got made whole. Us taxpayers, all of us got made whole. So conceptually, it's a good idea, but there's no question it's a slippery slope. So whatever side of the aisle that you're on, you say, okay, that's a good idea. But when the shoe is on the other side, they're going to make you do this and this and invest in these other companies that may be, socially conscious or whatever. Pick an argument of topic. That's where it becomes a slippery slope. So if it becomes transparent and you can say we can make that instead of making a loan or a grant, we can make it equity participation, and the taxpayers will be made whole. I think that's a valuable conversation to have.
Hey, real quick before we wrap it up, any concern that some of the government numbers that we all rely on, and a lot of the decision makers rely on, are not going to be available for the Fed or other agencies to make those big grand decisions for the country?
Yeah, you think about, are we in a holding pattern? And a lot of the data that we get, Steve, is not from the federal government. Yes, the Federal Reserve definitely needs it because they look in the rearview mirror. But, I always say who's a better arbiter is really the market, right? Because the companies come out and they have feet on the ground. The CEOs say, this is what's happening in our company. Let me tell you about what happened last quarter and what we see happening. And that's the reason why you can go without it. It shouldn't be a forever thing. But the market is a better arbiter, I think, than looking backwards in the rearview mirror.
All right.
Don't forget, we got a year-end tax planning webinar next Tuesday, I believe, the 18th, 1 p.m. I'll be out there with your guys talking about all the things you got to think about this time of year. That's a year-round conversation, but
for sure,
especially focused now. Dave Spano, always appreciate your wisdom. CEO at Annex Wealth.
All right, nice to see you guys. Thanks.
All right, quick break here on 620 WTMJ.
All different types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. Our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Jeff Zergabel of Pasternak and Zergabel. Frank Pasternak and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
We see you out there gearing up for the cold weather ahead. From home winterization to vehicle maintenance, insulated apparel, and more, Blaine's Farm and Fleet has what you need for the season at unbeatable value. Like 40-pound bags of Morton Elite Ice Melt, $7.99. A 16-inch Performance Tool Power Tool Storage Rack, $24.99. And save 30% on zero-exposure outerwear for the whole family. Find the value you need to get ready for winter your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
FAA ordering a cut to airspace capacity in dozens of markets across the country.
Eric Bilstad.
A federal judge is ordering the White House to provide full SNAP benefits to states.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
Right about at Moreland Road, the two left lanes are blocked with a crash. Big delays stretching all the way back almost to the Zoo interchange.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
What are you doing Wednesday night? Well, if you think you have the smarts, you can join Steve and me and Jeff Sherman for WTMJ's Trivia Showdown this Wednesday, November 12th, 7 p.m., Revere's in Delafield. Have you been there?
Never been there.
I've heard very good things.
I'm excited.
I've had multiple people reach out saying that Revere's is very cool.
Looking forward to it.
So it's going to be presented by Quizmaster Trivia. It's benefiting Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive. So all you need to do, if you're going to come and join us, and we want you to, absolutely, bring an unused toy or text toy to 855-616-1620 to donate there. Bring your friends, play trivia for a great cause, hang out with Steve and I. Are you serious that your Christmas coat's not going to be here in time, though?
It sounds like it's not going to make it. I was very excited.
That's a big promise that you're letting the people down.
Yeah, hopefully it'll show up. There's a window of opportunity.
I bet Kohl's has something.
Yeah, but I don't want to buy one because I already ordered a nice one, like a corduroy one. I can wear it all through the holidays, be that guy, that old uncle or whatever.
What color is it? So
it's either red or green. I don't remember which one we ordered now.
It's corduroy, not velvet.
No, I wanted the corduroy look. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
But I'm very excited. I think it'll be a very fun night.
After the break, booing at a football game unrelated to what was going on in the actual game on the field. What's that about? We'll discuss after this.
Hey, think you're the ultimate trivia champ?
Well, prove it against us, your favorite WTMJ host.
It's free to play. All we ask is bring a new unwrapped toy to benefit Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive.
Or you can donate at WTMJ.com. Just text TOY to the WTMJ talk and text line.
855-616-1620.
Grab your friends. Test your smarts. All while helping a great cause.
It's the WTMJ Trivia Challenge, coming to a place near you.
Check out the schedule of where we will be at WTMJ.com. Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. You just heard me there. Now talking about Advent. Love love Advent. Why? Because they changed my life. They changed my sleep patterns and my life in bed as well. No longer was I tossing and turning after I went there. No snoring. I really don't snore at all anymore. It all started with the decision to just go to Advent, one of their great facilities. The docs put me at ease and asked the questions, like, what can we do? And I had a very common problem, sinuses and nasal passages. They figured that out for me. They did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. And bottom line is I had a short procedure, and it changed my sleep life and my life because no longer wake up tired and, grouchy on occasion. I'll admit that. So if you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you to find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, like mine. You go to adventknows.com. Schedule that appointment today. Do not wait. Why would you wait? Why would you not want to wake up rested and refreshed? Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
The fall home buying season is officially here, which sometimes means less competition among home buyers, but that doesn't seem to be the case this year, with most listings still getting multiple offers. Now, a lot of home shoppers just go with their bank for their pre-approval. But if you'd like to get into your new home for the holidays, now's the time to get started with a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet, or switch if you started somewhere else. Not only will we put a $2,000 guarantee behind our fully verified pre-approval, we'll also work with you and your real estate agent to craft offers that get accepted over the rest. Our favorite tool is to see if we can get an appraisal waiver for the property you're trying to buy. Sure, that takes more effort on our part, but adding those magic words, "no appraisal required," to your property-specific pre-approval can be the difference maker. And our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the bank's for the same rate. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey.
And Steve Scaffidi from Point Taken. And me, I'm Jeff Sherman from The Upswing.
Jeff, what are you doing here?
I'm here for trivia, of course, Kristin.
For the Capco's Kids the Kids toy drive?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Join us Wednesday, November 12th at Revere's Wells Street Tavern in Delafield.
For the WTMJ Trivia Showdown with other WTMJ fans.
All for a good cause.
So bring a new unwrapped toy.
And have some fun with all of us at WTMJ. All right, if you're watching football yesterday, which I did a lot of, I watched the Berlin game, which the Colts won at the end of the game with a field goal. I watched the Bears, where I was hate watching to watch them lose to the Giants, and they snuck it out at the end. I was very disappointed with that. And then I watched all the other stuff and watched Aaron Rodgers look old later in the evening. But watching the Commanders game, here's some trivia for you. How long has it been since a U.S. president has attended an actual regular season
season game?
Regular season game.
President Trump went to the Super Bowl at the end of last season.
Not counting that.
I have no idea.
50 years.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Like, why wouldn't you go if you're president?
The Nixon?
Good question. Doesn't say the year.
Who was president in 1975?
Well, someone Google that and let us know, because we're busy right now doing the show.
Feels like Nixon's a safe bet.
So anyway, Donald Trump, the current president, was there, and I give him credit for going because I think that's pretty cool. And he was actually doing the oath for the new recruits in the military. They were on the field, and hopefully people weren't booing at that time because that's not appropriate. But as is the case with politics, a lot of people in the crowd. Oh, we have some of the boos.
Gerald Ford.
Ford, thank you, Jazz. Producer Jazz.
Got it.
Honor game today. All right, so the president's there. They put him on the mic. He gets booed. They introduced him, all that stuff. Maybe it's just, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump that much, but I'm a fan of the president. And I don't know that you should be booing the president at a football game, especially when the military's there. And
it's contentious times we live in.
It is. And
pretty sure if it was the other way around and Kamala Harris was the president and she showed up, she'd probably get booed at some events. I don't know.
According to the story I'm reading, the booing continued during the oaths. That's not appropriate. Is it? No. As I said, I'll give them credit for showing up. I think that's pretty cool. And why it would be 50 years for a regular season? They all travel constantly. Like, there's always, I guess you have to be a football fan. Maybe they're too busy, air quoting busy, to show up at football games.
So he was there because it was a Veterans Day.
Well, there's a side story to this. He's also apparently expressed an interest in having the new stadium that he was part of.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Be named after him. And I'll put myself in the not a fan of that idea camp.
Who would be involved in that decision?
The owners.
Just the owners.
Yeah, because to do that would probably mean not taking millions of dollars from a company. Seems like
I was going to say, is he going to pay them to put his name on it? Because that's usually how this works.
Here's how it gets weird. So donors, just like that whole East Wing, ballroom, could kick in and say, well, we'll do that. Let's name it after the current president. Maybe by the time it's done, former president. We'll pick up the tab. Don't be surprised. This president, of all things, has a lot of sway with donors. Some might call it an uneasy alliance, but, that's them. All right, quick break here for local news. Here's now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. It is day 41 of the government shutdown. Senate lawmakers back in session to fine-tune a funding bill in hopes of reopening the government. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
A lot still has to happen before the shutdown ends. The Senate has to take several more votes to insert new language in a House-passed bill to restore funding to agencies through the end of January. That new language would also require the reversal of any layoffs conducted by the administration through the shutdown. Once that bill passes the Senate, the House would have to come back to D.C. to vote on it to send it to the president's desk. His signature would end the shutdown.
Flight cancellations still stacking up. More than 1,700 cancellations today. The FAA restricting airspace due to the strain on air traffic controllers who are working without pay. President Trump in a social media post ordering ATC workers, he says, to get back on the job. An Arctic blast ushering in the first significant snowfall of the season in the upper plains. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 11:31. Yeah, that first significant snow closed all the schools in Kenosha today. Kenosha Unified Schools say the snow is making it harder to clear parking lots and sidewalks. Road conditions with the falling and drifting snow created dangerous travel conditions. Madison Metropolitan School District finds no evidence to support assault claims at Whitehorse Middle School. The district closed its Title IX investigation into 2 staff members stemming from the alleged event October 23rd. MMSD says its main priority is now healing and rebuilding trust at the middle school. Wisconsin State Fair's ticket exchange program starts today. Final day of this year's fair was canceled after historic flooding on the fairgrounds. If you have an eligible ticket, you can make the exchange in person for the 2026 State Fair. The exchange runs from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. through Friday, November 14th, and 9 a.m. to 4 on Saturday, the 15th. Fair officials say not all ticket types qualify for the exchange program. More details on our website, WTMJ.com. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 137 points at 47,124. The Nasdaq up 395 at 23,399. S&P 500 up 69 points at 6,798. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. There was a crash on the exit to Greenfield Avenue from I-41 North. It looks like that has been cleared off the roadway. Do have a disabled vehicle blocking the left shoulder, I-41 South at Blue Mound Road. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Blustery today and into the overnight hours. We could see some flurries overnight tonight after a high of 37. Overnight low tonight 25. And then a chance of rain mixed with snow tomorrow. High of 42. Sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and warming up each day. Wednesday's high 48. Thursday 52 and Friday's high 53. 31 in Madison, 32 in Green Bay, 34 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 11:33.
A new physician has joined the roster at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Derek Damrow.
Originally from Sheboygan, Dr. Damrow earned his biochemistry degree from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and completed medical school at the Medical College of Wisconsin. He trained alongside a world-renowned upper extremity surgeon at the University of Florida. Dr. Damrow is now back in southeastern Wisconsin to provide specialized shoulder and elbow care through Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Learn more or schedule an appointment at
orthowisconsin.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Matt LePay for Steinhoffels. Steinhoffels is a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Since 1934, Steinhoffels has been Wisconsin's furniture and mattress destination for quality, selection, and service. For over 90 years, Steinhoffels has helped Wisconsinites create the homes of their dreams and is 100% employee-owned. Steinhoffels has the largest selection of all the latest styles and all the best mattress brands. You'll find something for every style and every budget. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com. Relax, it's Steinhoffels.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I'm Kristin. He's Steve. A very exciting, is that the word that I want to use? Sunday evening after I had kind of checked out for the weekend from updating my phone consistently. But then all of a sudden our text thread with Joe and Bill lit up and things were moving fairly quickly in the Senate with enough moderate Democrat senators breaking with the rest of the party to vote on a bipartisan bill with Senate Republicans, and very mixed reactions, I would say, as far as so the shutdown is not officially over, but they did vote 60-40 on this new bill. It has to go back to the House, which we'll see if there's very much contention over it. I don't know if there's expectations that there's some House Republicans who won't vote for a bipartisan bill. So if that gets blocked.
There's a lot of assumptions that it's just going to be an easy road. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. And so I have, it's because we said this early on as far as the what happens from shutdowns being a messaging war and who wins the messaging war of this. And for Democrats, it's interesting that the timing of this after a good night on Tuesday for Democrats and seemingly a indication that more so Republicans were getting blamed for the shutdown, that all indications saying like hold the line. And then for less than a week later I still maintain that like Chuck Schumer's in on this, but he's up for re-election, so he couldn't be the one to vote to reopen the government. But as far as if you look at the list of people who did vote to reopen the government who are very safe or retiring, he was the one being like, yeah, go do this. So I don't know if it just becomes Democrats caving because so many people were hurting, or what they really want out of this, besides, even though we did, like, there's the ACA subsidies, it's like it's a promise that we're going to talk about it, but at least inroads as far as making that a big deal. I don't know. What are your main takeaways from this, Steve?
Well, one, it sounds like if the deal goes forward the way it's at least been proposed or talked about, the SNAP program would be protected through next year.
Which is great.
Yeah. So that was one of the pain points. You talked about, what was some of the motivation here. It's sort of, I think the restrictions on air flights going into what is the busiest travel day of the year. You can argue if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving. I think it's Thanksgiving. That plays into this. I don't know what the Democrats' play was, because if you got the SNAP thing for at least a year, and that's a good thing, because you and I have talked a lot about this, and you have at least a conversation and a vote on subsidies and the ACA, what else were you going to get? You don't control
if they get that.
If they get that, well, it said,
and that's the promise,
for whatever
right?
it means. It said guarantees. Take it for what it's worth. But they don't have any power because they don't control anything. So what else did you think you were going to get? Would be my question. It seems like they got something, and there are some Democrats, or at least people that lean left, that are saying some good things about this proposal. Again, it's not done yet. So until we know what's actually in the final, it's just conversation. I think it had to end at some point. It's now the longest shutdown in history.
41 days.
Yeah.
Today was 41.
It's not a good thing.
I mean, what is interesting, I think this was from Sam Stein. You sent this last night, as far as how the expectation is this actually won't impact the midterms at all. Like, we're way too far out from the midterms as far as what people are paying attention to at this moment, as far as this being a winning campaign issue. He referenced that at this point in 2013, in the 2013 shutdown, people were convinced that Republicans had just screwed themselves. Within days, everyone was talking about a failed website launch related to the healthcare law, whose subsidies we just waged a shutdown over. So much will happen in the next year. And I just don't know in for a party that is fighting against the assumption that they're a weak party, I don't know if this gets them any points with people who think they're weak.
That is correct. That's right on point. Where the Republicans, and more specifically the president, have a tension point is if they don't do anything on the subsidies, if they don't do anything, if they have this vote and nothing changes or they just go away, Republicans own that issue. So having an actual conversation, they own that then. So as Americans, you and I have talked a lot about this, feel the pain of higher deductibles, no care, less care, harder to get access to health care. Democrats can point to that and say, well, this president, this Congress, led by Republicans, they did that. That is an argument you can make at midterms.
Do you think that there's an actual appetite from both sides of the aisle? I know they say there is, but because the point is, I think Trump made this point over the weekend, which is totally true, that these subsidies are just money that goes directly to insurance companies, which no one wants.
That's
right?
the problem.
Like no one wants more money to go to insurance companies. We want the actual cost of when we need health care to not be so expensive, and we want the premiums that protect us from going bankrupt when something bad happens to not be so high. But the subsidies right now don't actually solve either of those things, right? It's just passing the bill so that the government is paying directly to insurance companies versus you paying directly to insurance companies. And so do you think there's finally an appetite to actually start talking about healthcare policy and why it's so GD expensive in this country?
Yeah. In the public, absolutely.
No, certainly in the public. I mean, because like John Thune started talking about it last night, and I don't know if it's just a lip service or if there's actually some kind of momentum of feeling like we got to do something, or if they're all, not all, but enough of them are in the pockets of insurance companies that it's, like I said, just lip service.
That's also where the insurance companies do very well, and that's the lobbyists that descend upon Congress when they ever have these conversations, and they almost always win, those lobbyists being associated with the medical providers. There's opportunity. Tremendous opportunity. The pain, again, is if the public is loud enough to their elected officials in Congress and say, you're screwing us. I can't pay $5,000 more. I can't pay $10,000 more in the middle class, in the whatever class you're in. I can't absorb that cost. That's when it gets ugly. That's when there's opportunity.
I mean, even if you're making as a household over $100,000, $5,000 a month for a premium?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's not possible. Like, that's not working. That's not mathing.
It's crazy. It shouldn't be a hard thing, but we have a Congress that doesn't actually work on things. They talk about things. That's what's frustrating. Kristin, Steve, after the break, I'm doing some fun football broadcasting tonight, so I'll tell you about that, and we'll talk a little football. Packers, Eagles, the game of the week.
Also, the Badgers won.
Yeah,
and they stormed the field.
They stormed the field. The 3-6 Badgers, something like that. God bless those Badgers fans. All right, quick break on Point Taken.
Hi, this is Bruce Nemovitz, Senior Real Estate Specialist and founder of Bruce's Team. We understand that moving from your longtime home can feel overwhelming. Ready for a smaller space, warmer climate, want to live closer to the grandkids, or you're just sick of the upkeep? From downsizing to preparing your home for sale, our team has guided over 3,000 families through the transition. Bruce's Team helps you every step of the way. Let us take you from overwhelmed to I can do this. Visit brucesteam.com today.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, West Bend Vacuum and Inspired Closets. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
I know, Mondays and Tuesdays can be a drag, kind of a challenge. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Brighten up your day with a free dinner tonight and witness the spectacular fall colors as you drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest to the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club near Holy Hill. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free. Enjoy a brandied New York steak, the delicious ribs, pan-fried walleye, any pasta, even steak and lobster. Your second dinner is always free. Desserts and ice cream drinks, and I love these. Buy one, get one free. Relax with an old-fashioned. Choose from 20 bourbons, 100 wines, ice-cold tap beer. You can see the stunning fall colors from most tables in the 8 unique dining rooms, and your second dinner's free. The Fox and Hounds, just off 167 near Holy Hill. The breathtaking views through the Kettle Moraine Forest and surrounding the Fox and Hounds is a Wisconsin must-see. Check out the patio in the woods. Tables are open tonight. Make a quick call. Reserve your free dinner. foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
It's like you don't want to even do anything anymore. You lay in bed in the morning, putting off the pain. You put off your workouts. You put off your walks. And yard work? That's just not even an option anymore. As we speak, pain is taking away more and more from your life. And unless you take action, it's going to get worse. And that's no way to live. Not when there's a Rejuvenex clinic nearby. Because the power of Toradol, joined with the wonder of hyaluronic acid, can alleviate your pain. And it can allow you to start living your life again. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, Rejuvenex treatments are affordable. They're FDA approved. And in many cases, our patients pay nothing at all because insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pay for them. If your pain just won't go away, you should call Rejuvenex today.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Google reviews will tell you it's worth a try.
Keep the comfort in and the weather out with beautiful new windows and doors from Siding Unlimited. For ideas, go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
All right, yes, it is game day. I'll be doing Green Bay game
right
day.
after the show?
Pretty much. I have a little recording to do, then I'm heading out.
All right.
Because I have to be in position at 4 o'clock because I'll be joining the Gabe and
The
Gabe and Alex Strofe on ESPN 94.5, and then at 5 we sort of simulcast on 620 WTMJ. You'll hear a little bit of me, and then you'll hear Gabe and Alex as I head into the game.
Is Kathy going?
No.
Who's your guest?
I don't know yet. It's sort of up in the air. So
Are you just going to pick someone randomly from the
I might.
trio?
I might, yeah. And I'm definitely not staying the whole game, so hopefully the Packers get a big lead and I can just easily listen to the broadcast on the way home. But of course,
we are favored tonight, despite our terrible game last weekend.
I don't have great confidence in the Packers, but I mean, we've seen them go up and down. We have no idea.
One of the funnier memes I saw last weekend was like a faked text exchange, and as someone was like, "What's that?" Like someone sends just the Green Bay Packer G as a text.
Yeah.
And the respondent says, "What does this mean?" He goes, "Means if I send you this, it means I may be coming. I may show up. I may not show up. You're gonna have to guess."
Yeah. Here's the thing about these games: it's everyone in the country is going to be watching the game. It's the Monday night game.
Well, unless you still have YouTube TV, I'd have to figure. Literally all day yesterday, Mike, my husband Mike, he's like, "Where's that antenna?" I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." So we have an antenna somewhere in our house that he's desperately trying to find. Otherwise,
you can buy one at Ace Hardware for like $10.
Okay, maybe he'll have to go do that today because we have YouTube
downstairs.
TV.
Yeah,
and as of right now, that negotiation is not settled, and so you cannot. If that's how you get your cable.
Yeah, good luck.
You're going to have to figure out a different way to watch tonight's game.
Rabbit ears work. I just hooked up rabbit ears to a TV I have in the basement. I have to watch in the basement if I get back in time to watch the end of it. So, yeah, I don't know. We're getting $20 back from YouTube TV for the inconvenience.
For the inconvenience?
Yeah. Now, the Badgers won a surprising victory on Saturday.
I did not watch the game closely.
I didn't either.
This is hilarious. Are you a fan of Texas Roadhouse?
My wife, Kathy, is a fan of Texas
there's a very
Roadhouse.
popular one in Oak Creek.
Oh, yeah.
So two of our best friends, he works for Molson Coors. They both work for Molson Coors, but he's a sales guy. And one of his accounts is Texas Roadhouse. And I had never been to one. And
so you went to the Oak Creek one?
We went to the Oak Creek one. It was packed. It was my first time.
It's always packed.
It was pretty good for the price point.
Their food's great.
The food's pretty good. But the game was on. And so we sat there and we watched the game. And I was like, oh, my God, they're going to win. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
They're going to win. And then we sat there like, do you think they're going to rush the field? And we kind of said it jokingly. And they did. In the sleeting, cold weather, those dogged fans.
I'm happy for the
shirtless
fans.
Ran into the field, did not knock down the goalpost, but still were very excited for the first time. I think it's since 2021 that they beat a seeded team.
Yeah.
So anything's possible.
What'd you have to eat at the Roadhouse?
Ribs
which were very good.
I've had them. They're
the
good.
ribs were good. Yeah. And then Mike ordered something called Roadkill, which is basically like a burger patty with cheese and onions and mushrooms on top. But the chicken fritters, that's what Frankie had.
Yeah.
Those were good. The big drinks.
I drive
very
by
large cocktails.
Yeah, I've been by there a million times. It's always busy.
It was packed.
My wife meets her girlfriends there for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there a few times.
It was, I'm going to say, I was like, we kind of went there as a joke, but it was mostly just to point out to me.
Thanks for the visit to Oak
Because
Creek.
I had never been. And now.
Probably been a while
I'd
since
go
you've been
back.
in Oak Creek. I bet. You don't come down to the creek.
Well, we did. We also stopped at IKEA. Frankie, big fan. Frankie loved IKEA.
What's not to like? You can
she
jump
was
on
very
beds.
excited about all of the different stuffies and the kids' rooms
Did she
and stuff.
pile stuff into your cart?
She did not, but it was very hard to extract her from one of the kids' jungle bedrooms. Had to throw her over the shoulder and kicking and screaming.
So the cool thing about kids, especially girls, because I had two of them, their taste in their bedroom will change over and over again throughout their young lives. So get used to that.
Get used to paying for remodels.
Yeah, new carpeting. I remember painting Chrissy's walls pink, which was a nightmare to get rid of that pink at some point. Now they're dark green for the Packers, of course. All of that stuff. You have to look forward to that.
Great. Can't wait.
All right, we'll wrap today's show, the Monday edition, which is a very good show, by the way. If you missed any or all, just find it on the podcast page. Kristin and Steve, 620 WTMJ.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Milwaukee County leaders moving forward with the budget for 2026. The County Board of Supervisors approving the $1.3 billion spending plan.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
A state legislative committee unanimously orders an audit of the Department of Public Instruction's handling of misconduct allegations.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey, and if you are in the market for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he'll prioritize your needs, no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. He also will be honest with you about what work you need now and what can wait. So whether you need a simple cleaning, an exam, teeth whitening, or a more complex dental procedure, Economowalk Dental will always make you feel as comfortable as possible and give you and your family an amazing smile. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Call and make an appointment today with my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care. That's drmichaelsdentalcare.com or 262-567-7224.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Appliance Gallery. The holidays are coming. It's the right time for kitchen upgrades. Head to Appliance Gallery's incredible showroom right on Wisconsin Avenue. Explore luxury brands like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Cove, GE Cafe, and more. This family-owned business offers in-house installers who will work with you, your designer, or contractor to make sure everything is perfectly placed for the holidays. Head to appliancegallerywy.com or stop in today.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been Milwaukee's one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Do the holiday parties, tailgating, and family get-togethers have your liver working overtime? Let Active Liver help give your liver some relief at Amazon or Vitacost.com, CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Monday in the books.
All done. Oh, I still have to work up in Green Bay, but
Well, I mean, I always have a lot to do.
you're a very busy
I
person.
actually, we have trivia on Wednesday night, I get to interview and moderate an event with. Have you ever met Caitlin Luby, the scientist, environmental scientist at Journal Sentinel? We're doing an event with her, talking about the benefits of having a scientist in a newsroom. So that's on Thursday. I got to do a podcast tomorrow night. There's a lot going on.
Reminds me of I was invited to do the address, the MC's task for the City of Waukesha Veterans Day.
How was that?
It was awesome. Hundreds of people, great speakers. Co Wynn, who is the interim director of the War Memorial Center, was the featured speaker. Brilliant life story, by the way. Rescued from Vietnam, comes to the United States, goes to West Point, graduates from West Point. It's like I said, that's like a very interesting story, and I said we got to use that in some way at the station. But the people were so nice, big fans of our show. Many people came up to me and said, "We love it, love the way you guys approach the show." So to the City of Waukesha Mayor Sean Riley, I have a little bit of audio that I'll figure out some way to tuck it in maybe tomorrow on Veterans Day.
Bucks did a great job yesterday with Veterans Day. I got to go to the game. It was my first one of the season.
You didn't bring home a win, though.
Did not bring home a win, which was very frustrating. But as far as they had us in between one of the timeouts. They had K9 dogs that help veterans. They had one of the lieutenants come out with the big seated T-shirt gun. It was very fun.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, yes,
Jim and Mary.
Jim and Mary, yes.
We got some legal talk tomorrow to update all of the different cases that are happening right now.
Lots of stuff happening. There's a Supreme Court decision today, or at least not a decision, but they're not
a decision
taking a
to
case.
not take a case for
same-sex marriage.
To relook at same-sex marriage. Celeste Morgan will be here to talk
City Forward Collective on education in our community.
Education.
Always good.
And I think that's it for tomorrow for guests.
Yeah, we're guest heavy this week.
We had our second edition of our newsletter, Extra Points, went out yesterday. Again, if you subscribed and you did not see it, please check your spam or trash and then just mark it not spam, and then it should come to your inbox.
Yeah.
But if you did get it, send us feedback. We would love to know what you like about it, what you don't like about it, things that we could include. One of the things we're thinking about is having texts of the week.
One or two texts
more
of the week.
listeners' thoughtful feedback that we get. But if you still have not subscribed and you would like to, just text EXTRA to 855-616-1620, and we will send you a link to subscribe.
Easy read. You can read it in less than 5 minutes. And there's some links if you want to follow them to the shows, to the podcast, even to recommendations that we have, sort of how we put our show together.
Yeah.
So help yourself.
All right. Anything else for today?
No, I'm up to Green Bay.
All right. Have fun. Stay warm.
Go Packers.
Go Packers.
WDTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. Remember when you lived a life pain-free? Remember when it didn't hurt with every step or every reach? Well, relief is closer than you think, thanks to QC Kinetics.